Do you truly understand your emotional needs, or are you simply reacting to them? In this video, we'll explore 4 powerful Stoic principles that can help you recognize and address your emotional needs in a way that promotes balance, resilience, and inner peace. By the end of this video, you'll have practical Stoic tools to better understand and fulfill your emotional needs without compromising your sense of self. Whether you're feeling overwhelmed, disconnected, or seeking more clarity, Stoicism offers timeless wisdom to help you regain control and find emotional equilibrium. Let's dive in and discover how Stoicism can transform your emotional well-being. Understanding the dichotomy of control. The Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. This principle, known as the dichotomy of control, serves as a guide to navigating life's challenges with clarity and peace. According to Stoicism, we cannot control external events or other people's actions, but we have complete control over our reactions, choices, and thoughts. By understanding and accepting this dichotomy, we free ourselves from the emotional turmoil that arises when we attempt to control things outside our reach. When it comes to emotional needs, the dichotomy of control is particularly useful in helping us determine which emotional needs we can fulfill through our own actions and which ones we must let go of. Many times we find ourselves seeking emotional validation from others or attempting to control situations that are beyond our influence. This leads to frustration, disappointment, and emotional instability. However, when we learn to focus on what we can control, our reactions, beliefs, and responses, we gain emotional clarity and the ability to meet our needs without depending on external circumstances. A critical part of this process is letting go of the desire for external validation. Stoicism teaches that relying on others' approval or seeking validation through external accomplishments ultimately undermines our emotional well-being. By accepting that we cannot control how others perceive us, we begin to prioritize self-reliance in fulfilling our emotional needs. This practice does not mean rejecting connection or feedback, but rather recognizing that our emotional health should not be anchored in others' opinions. Our value and emotional stability come from within. When you apply the dichotomy of control, it becomes easier to separate your emotional needs from things you cannot control. For example, if you are waiting for recognition at work or approval from a friend or family member, the emotional distress that comes from unmet expectations can be overwhelming. Understanding that these external factors are beyond your control allows you to shift your focus to what you can control, your response. You can acknowledge your desire for approval, but then consciously choose to affirm your worth internally based on your own values and actions, rather than waiting for others' recognition. An example of applying the dichotomy of control to emotional needs might be seen in someone who faces repeated criticism from a boss or colleague. Initially, this criticism may sting, affecting self-esteem and creating emotional unrest. However, a Stoic approach encourages the individual to acknowledge the emotions stirred by this criticism, feeling hurt, rejected, or upset, but not allowing them to control behavior or thoughts. Instead of fixating on changing the external source of criticism, something outside of their control, the individual focuses on their own response, reflecting on whether the criticism holds any truth, using it as an opportunity for self-improvement, and letting go of the emotional attachment to others' opinions. This leads to emotional strength, as the person no longer relies on external validation to feel worthy or secure. Another example is the challenge of maintaining emotional stability in relationships. Sometimes, we might expect others to meet our emotional needs in specific ways, whether it's through love, attention, or empathy. When these needs are not fulfilled, emotional disappointment can follow. However, by recognizing the dichotomy of control, you can focus on what is within your power, offering love, understanding, and support to others without expecting something in return. This shift in perspective allows you to cultivate inner peace, knowing that your emotional fulfillment does not rely on the behavior or actions of others. The dichotomy of control also empowers us to take responsibility for our emotional well-being. Rather than waiting for external events or people to validate or fulfill our needs, Stoicism teaches that we must act in alignment with our values and pursue emotional clarity through self-discipline, mindfulness, and internal reflection. When we embrace the principle of focusing on what is within our control, we are better equipped to manage emotional needs constructively, leading to greater resilience and emotional independence. In conclusion, the Stoic principle of the dichotomy of control helps us recognize that emotional well-being is largely in our hands. By focusing on what we can control, our actions, thoughts, and responses, we free ourselves from the emotional turmoil of trying to control external factors. This mindset fosters emotional strength and clarity, allowing us to meet our needs with greater self-reliance and peace of mind. Applying this Stoic wisdom helps us shift from dependency on external validation to an empowered state where we take charge of our emotional health. The role of self-reflection in emotional awareness. In Stoic philosophy, self-reflection is a cornerstone practice for cultivating emotional awareness and growth. The Stoics believed that understanding our emotions requires us to look inward, examine our thoughts, and make deliberate efforts to align our actions with reason and virtue. Daily self-reflection helps us gain clarity on our emotional needs, understand the roots of our feelings, and identify areas for personal growth. Without this intentional practice of introspection, we risk becoming unaware of the emotional patterns that govern our lives, which can hinder our emotional well-being and personal development. Daily self-reflection allows us to pause, step back from the hustle of daily life, and evaluate how we have responded to our emotions throughout the day. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius often wrote in his personal journals, reminding himself to stay aligned with virtue and focus on what was within his control. By reflecting on his actions, thoughts, and emotional responses, he was able to adjust his behavior and align himself with Stoic principles of wisdom, courage, and self-discipline. This daily practice of self-examination was not about criticizing oneself, but rather about learning from experience and striving to become a better version of oneself each day. One of the most effective techniques for incorporating self-reflection into your routine is through journaling. Writing down your thoughts and feelings allows you to externalize your emotions and gain perspective. Stoic journaling can be particularly helpful in understanding emotional triggers, recognizing patterns in your behavior, and discerning how well your responses align with Stoic virtues. In your journal, you might write about challenging situations, your emotional reactions to them, and whether those reactions were in line with your values. For example, if you felt anger or frustration in response to a conflict, journaling about it can help you explore the cause of these emotions. Was it due to a desire for control, ego, or a lack of patience? By identifying the root cause, you can better understand your emotional needs and work toward a more constructive response in the future. In addition to journaling, meditation, and quiet time are powerful practices for cultivating emotional awareness. Meditation allows you to create space between emotional stimuli and your response, enabling you to observe your thoughts without getting swept up in them. By practicing mindfulness, you can better identify emotions as they arise, without allowing them to control your behavior. Stoic meditation often involves reflecting on one's actions and emotions, considering whether they are aligned with virtue and pondering how you can improve. This practice fosters emotional clarity, helping you become more attuned to your emotional needs and less reactive to external events. Another essential aspect of self-reflection is quiet time. Deliberate periods of solitude where you can reflect on your thoughts and feelings without distractions. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get lost in external noise, but Stoicism teaches us that quiet time is essential for reconnecting with ourselves. This space allows us to ask deep, introspective questions. Why am I feeling this way? What do I truly need emotionally? How can I respond with wisdom and restraint? By regularly setting aside time for quiet reflection, you give yourself the opportunity to listen to your inner voice and gain a deeper understanding of your emotional landscape. Real-life examples of Stoic philosophers using self-reflection to recognize and address their emotional needs offer valuable lessons. Marcus Aurelius, for instance, was known for his constant reflection on his behavior and emotions. In his meditations, he wrote about the importance of accepting challenges and frustrations as opportunities to practice virtue. His reflections on his emotional responses to events such as criticism, betrayal, and personal loss show how he used these experiences to cultivate resilience and emotional strength. Through his journaling, he was able to reframe negative emotions, focusing on how he could use them to grow and maintain inner peace. Similarly, the Stoic philosopher Epictetus emphasized the importance of self-reflection in understanding our emotional responses. In his teachings, he encouraged his students to examine their reactions to external events and consider whether those reactions were in line with their values. He often advised reflecting on how to respond with equanimity, regardless of the circumstances. Epictetus believed that by consistently reflecting on our actions and emotions, we could develop the wisdom to choose our responses thoughtfully, leading to emotional balance and tranquility. In conclusion, self-reflection plays a crucial role in emotional awareness and growth within Stoic philosophy. By engaging in daily introspection through journaling, meditation, and quiet time, we can better understand our emotional needs, identify areas for improvement, and cultivate emotional resilience. The Stoics demonstrated how the practice of self-reflection leads to greater emotional clarity, inner peace, and alignment with virtue. By adopting this practice, we can navigate life's challenges with a steady and composed mind, ultimately fulfilling our emotional needs in a balanced and stoic manner. The practice of virtue as emotional fulfillment. In Stoic philosophy, virtue is regarded as the foundation of true emotional fulfillment. For Stoics, living a life in accordance with virtue through wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance is the key to attaining emotional well-being. Rather than seeking fulfillment from external circumstances, Stoics believe that true contentment arises from cultivating virtues that align us with our inner nature and our rational minds. By focusing on virtues, we not only achieve emotional balance but also develop resilience against life's inevitable challenges, allowing us to navigate the world with a sense of peace and purpose. The Stoic understanding of virtue is based on the idea that each person has an inherent rational nature, and the more we live according to reason, the more fulfilled and peaceful we become. This belief stems from the notion that human beings are most aligned with their true selves when they live virtuously. The Stoic philosophers emphasized that living virtuously is not just about moral correctness, but is also the key to emotional and psychological peace. The virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance serve as tools to guide us in making decisions, responding to emotions, and interacting with others in ways that cultivate inner tranquility. When we talk about wisdom, it refers not only to intellectual knowledge, but also to the practical application of understanding in our daily lives. Wisdom allows us to see situations clearly and act according to what is rational and good for us. The practice of wisdom helps us avoid emotional impulsiveness or destructive behavior, allowing us to make thoughtful decisions that contribute to emotional stability. For example, when facing a challenging situation, a wise individual will reflect on their emotions, consider all possible responses, and choose the one that best aligns with their rational values. This reduces emotional turmoil and promotes inner peace, creating an emotional foundation built on understanding rather than reaction. Courage is the second key virtue, and it plays an essential role in emotional fulfillment. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. Rather, it is the ability to act in accordance with one's values despite fear or adversity. This virtue enables us to confront difficult emotions such as fear, grief, and anger without being overcome by them. Courage empowers us to face challenging circumstances with integrity, making decisions that reflect our true beliefs and not our fleeting emotional states. For example, someone practicing Stoic courage might face a personal loss or failure, not by denying their emotions, but by accepting them, allowing the feelings to pass without taking over their actions or decisions. The third Stoic virtue, justice, is about living harmoniously with others, acting with fairness, and prioritizing the greater good. When we practice justice, we focus on the well-being of others and the world around us, which, in turn, fulfills our emotional needs for connection, meaning, and purpose. Justice cultivates a sense of responsibility and compassion, which leads to fulfilling relationships and a sense of belonging. By practicing justice, we move beyond self-centered concerns, understanding that our emotional needs are also met when we contribute to the well-being of others. Lastly, temperance, the ability to exercise self-control and moderation, is central to emotional balance. In a world where indulgence and excess often promise fleeting pleasures, Stoicism teaches that true emotional fulfillment comes from practicing restraint. By avoiding overindulgence in pleasures or comforts, we develop emotional resilience and fortitude. Temperance encourages us to find contentment in simplicity and helps us resist the temptation to seek happiness through material goods or external validation. This leads to a more sustainable and enduring sense of emotional well-being. The Stoic principle that fulfillment does not come from external sources is key to understanding the emotional benefits of practicing virtue. Stoics argue that external circumstances, wealth, status, fame, or fleeting pleasures are not true sources of happiness. These external factors are transient and beyond our control, and relying on them for emotional satisfaction is a path to dissatisfaction and frustration. Instead, Stoics teach that emotional fulfillment is achieved through cultivating inner virtues that align us with our rational nature. The more we live virtuously, the more we become attuned to our inner values, resulting in greater emotional clarity, resilience, and peace. Real-world examples of people who have achieved emotional satisfaction by focusing on virtue rather than external validation are numerous. One notable example is Nelson Mandela, who, despite enduring years of imprisonment, maintained his Stoic resolve by focusing on justice, courage, and forgiveness. His ability to practice these virtues helped him emerge from adversity with emotional strength, ultimately leading to his fulfillment in his mission for equality and peace. Mandela's focus was not on seeking revenge or bitterness, but on practicing virtues that served the greater good, contributing to both his emotional well-being and the well-being of his nation. Another example is Mahatma Gandhi, who exemplified Stoic virtues in his personal and political life. Gandhi's commitment to non-violence, ahimsa, truth, satya, and self-discipline allowed him to navigate immense personal and societal challenges with emotional equanimity. Despite facing immense opposition and personal hardships, Gandhi's focus on living virtuously brought him a sense of peace and fulfillment that transcended material wealth or success. His ability to maintain inner calm, even in the face of adversity, serves as a powerful testament to the Stoic idea that virtue is the true path to emotional fulfillment. In conclusion, the practice of virtue is essential to achieving emotional fulfillment. By living in accordance with the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, we build emotional resilience and inner peace. Fulfillment does not come from external sources, but from the consistent practice of virtues that align us with our rational nature. By focusing on virtue rather than external validation, we can cultivate a sense of inner tranquility and emotional well-being that is sustainable and fulfilling. Through this practice, we move beyond fleeting emotional desires and cultivate a life of lasting emotional clarity and strength. Embracing adversity to recognize emotional strength. In Stoic philosophy, adversity is not something to fear or avoid, but rather an opportunity to discover and nurture true emotional strength. The Stoics teach that challenges and difficult circumstances are integral to understanding ourselves, especially our emotional needs. Rather than being a source of suffering, adversity is viewed as a catalyst for growth, resilience, and self-awareness. By embracing hardship, we not only learn how to manage our emotions, but also recognize what truly matters to us, our core values and virtues. The Stoic view is that our emotions are not signs of weakness, but rather signals that help us navigate the world. Emotions like fear, anger, sadness, or frustration arise in response to life's challenges, and rather than suppressing or avoiding them, the Stoics advocate for facing them head-on. Through facing these difficult emotions, we gain clarity about our deeper needs and desires. When we experience adversity, we are forced to confront the underlying beliefs and attachments that shape our emotional reactions. For instance, if we feel anger when facing an injustice, this can highlight our need for fairness and righteousness. Similarly, sadness can reveal a longing for connection or a fear of loss. By embracing these emotions, we uncover what drives us and what we truly value in life. Resilience, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, plays a key role in transforming hardship into emotional growth. Stoicism teaches that while we cannot always control the events that challenge us, we have full control over how we respond to them. Resilience is the practice of adapting to adversity with wisdom and composure, recognizing that our emotional strength is built through overcoming difficulties. Instead of viewing hardship as a threat, Stoics see it as a way to cultivate virtues like courage, patience, and self-control. Each challenge is an opportunity to build resilience by choosing how to respond and what lesson we can extract from the experience. For example, Marcus Aurelius, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, demonstrated resilience in the face of immense adversity. As Roman emperor, he faced numerous military conflicts, political unrest, and personal losses. Despite these challenges, he consistently relied on Stoic principles to maintain his emotional equilibrium. In his meditations, Marcus reflects on the inevitability of hardship, reminding himself that obstacles are a natural part of life and must be met with calmness and virtue. His ability to face difficult situations without being overwhelmed by negative emotions showcases the Stoic approach to emotional strength. Adversity reveals what is truly important and tests our capacity to remain anchored in virtue. Another powerful example is Epictetus, a former slave-turned-Stoic philosopher who embraced adversity as a means to cultivate emotional fortitude. In his teachings, he often spoke of the importance of accepting what we cannot control and focusing on our reactions to external circumstances. Epictetus faced extreme hardships, including being physically abused and enduring slavery, yet he viewed these challenges as opportunities to practice resilience. His emotional strength lay in his ability to detach from external misfortunes and focus on cultivating inner peace through self-discipline and virtue. In conclusion, adversity is a powerful tool for recognizing and strengthening our emotional needs. By facing challenges head-on, we gain deeper insight into our emotions and the underlying values that drive them. Stoicism teaches that through resilience and the practice of virtues like courage and wisdom, we can transform hardship into emotional growth. The Stoic figures of Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus serve as profound examples of how adversity can reveal our emotional strength and guide us toward a life of deeper self-awareness and fulfillment. By applying these 4 Stoic principles, you will gain the clarity and strength to recognize and fulfill your emotional needs. Stoicism offers a path to understanding yourself more deeply, leading to greater emotional balance and resilience. Start practicing these principles today, and you'll begin to cultivate a life rooted in wisdom, courage, and self-awareness. Remember, your emotional needs are not obstacles. They are opportunities for growth and a deeper connection with your true self. Embrace them and let Stoic wisdom guide you toward emotional fulfillment and inner peace.